Again, we had 2 of the quarterfinals yesterday, and they were pretty freaking awesome. So, without further ado, let's have some more of that StarCraft action. We start down to the bottom right-hand side with our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. This, my friends, is TLO. And to the upper left-hand side, our blue Zerg player from ZvZ Sports. Give it up if you're cheering on Reynor. A best-of-5 series here. The first 3 points advances to the semi-finals, where they'll be joined by either a Laser or Soul. The good thing, we can't have a ZvZ Grand Final. The bad thing, we could have a ZvZ semi-final. Obviously, we'll see how the day goes, but we're guaranteed a TVP in the first semi-final. Again, Uthermal versus Mana is already set up, and that is going to be the best-of-7 series in just a little while. So, as we get set up here, hatchery first from both players to start off on King's Cove. This is an interesting map. It's been definitely shown us to play some interesting bits and pieces. Sorry, I tabbed out of my game on the laptop, which is showing the picture-in-picture. This is by City in the Bard, and obviously the 3 bases up on the high ground, the 4th base very open to the low ground, unless you want to come along and over here where there's a bit more of a choke point to work with. It is an interesting map. A lot of players have been taking these central 4th bases. It's been very, very interesting to kind of see this one play out in general. And it has given us some of the longer games, I'd say, as well. Now, this already from TLO is obviously very different to what Reynor is going for. It's not hatch gas pool. It is, in fact, a hatch gas pool. So TLO, sporting pool, yet to start still. We'll just get that going now. And it's going to be playing a little bit of a greedy opening. So a little bit of greed on a very large map can oftentimes work out. As Reynor gets his own pool finished up in the next few moments from this hatch gas pool opening, no third hatchery, he is going to be able to start going into Zergling speed. He's going to be able to go into his double queen, a couple of Zerglings, and start trying to figure out where this game is headed. So link speed coming up right now, and we are going to be seeing a spawning pool just about 75% of the way done. And a few of you guys are already... what? That's not it. What's my button? Is it this one? There we go. I forgot what the hotkey was to bring up the voting. Some hashtag TLOs and Reynors right now coming in, but apparently it's not working. No! WardiTV isn't here. Let me actually try and PM port. Let's see if we can get that fixed up. I messaged the guy that hosted for us and so on. Alright then, let's jump into this as we have got link speed already starting on up. A couple of Baneling nests on the way down right now as the hatchery coming in on the 3rd base as well. So, 3rd hatch coming in. Reynor has not really pressured this triple hatch early in the game, and so TLO looks as though he's going to be getting away with this right now. And as we'll see this queen coming toward the front. Evolution Chamber is dropping at the front as well, so just setting up a bit of a wall of as well. The 28,000 GSL viewer host. That's a little bit crazy, as Reynor is going to have a quick pause here. That's pretty insane. The Several raid. Hello guys, how are you doing? We've already been talking about how Several won. We delayed the entire tournament here today to watch the end of GSL vs. the World, and boy, was it worth it. Fantastic stuff. How are you all doing? Welcome to the stream. If you're tuning in from GSL vs. the World, this is the WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 3. I hope you're all having a good day so far. It's already been a great evening, morning, day of StarCraft, depending on where you're coming from. I am Wardy, and this is my map contest tournament. The Team Liquid Map Contest takes 16 maps, which KO takes a lot of maps, and it whittles them down to 16, at which we put a tournament on. Map makers then get to edit their maps, and then get voted on to see who's going to win out. Ling is going to run on up here, and they're going to go chasing. If you just missed the opening, it was hatch gas pool from TLO versus hatch gas pool into a 3rd hatchery from Reynor. So TLO has a slight edge in the game, but has to be very careful of those Banelings, and the first connection goes the way of Reynor. That's a good little shot, and he is going to get the second Baneling though picked off. So TLO has some momentum now. One more Baneling about to finish. Will it finish? No, it gets cancelled here, and TLO is running up this ramp. TLO has the numbers at the moment. A good Baneling here as well, and suddenly TLO is just just keeping on streaming in. TLO has the Banelings and Reynor does not right now. And is TLO just going to pick up a quick win in the first game of the ZvZ quarterfinal matchup? Well, maybe right now. We see more Banes morphing in from Reynor, but they're so long to kind of come in and actually finish that. TLO's just continuing to cancel them. A Baneling in the main base gets a big connection, and already Reynor trails by 8 workers here, as we are going to be seeing that Baneling on this low ground is just going to go down as well. TLO is trying to morph in some more Banes on the high ground. He will be shut down, but he comes out of this with a lead, a 9-worker lead to be exact. Army supply in his favor as well, as we have +1 melee finishing up very soon too. So TLO will continue with this Ling Bane pressure. He'll have a +1 melee on his side, and Reynor going into the +1 missile attack. That is not an upgrade that's really going to help him here. He does not have a Rotron. He does not have a way to put this into use, and so TLO's momentum might just carry him through right now, especially because it's only going to increase with that upgrade. Rotron now dropping from TLO. He starts to think about a transition, but again, he's got a long time where he is going to be able to just keep on attacking and really holding the advantage with +1 melee. These queens will drop so quickly. The queen with energy goes down first, which means the transfuse just isn't there. The second queen will survive for the moment. TLO tries to dive back on it. Same time, he's back on the third base. He's dealing damage once again. He's coming in. He gets another Bane. His own Banelings are here, but the queens target them down. Good target fired by Reynor. The transfuse comes through. 3 Zerglings working their way through this queen. It will just not go down. Saved on 1 hit point here as Reynor defends and deflects, and all of a sudden we are going to be seeing TLO pulling back down to the bottom right hand side. Guys, apparently our voting system is fixed, so we can now go and hashtag TLO or hashtag Reynor in the chat. If depending on who you want to see winning today. Let's just have a little look to see if that is working. There it is. It is. So you guys can hashtag TLO or hashtag Reynor in the chat. Let us know who you're supporting here today. Let us know which of these ZvZ players you want to see moving through, as we do have Reynor though on the counter attack. A couple of Banes coming through with those Zerglings here, and we are going to be seeing a little bit of a cleanup. TLO gets rid of another Baneling as well. Has to be careful of this queen though, as Reynor going huge right now. Let's have a look at his first person view during all of this, as these Zerglings continue to fight at the end. You can see that on the picture in the bottom right of your screen, as we are going to be seeing Reynor is going to pull away with those Lings. He is going to back off, and TLO now will go on the offensive once again. TLO starting his own +1 missiles. Honestly, it should catch up for the most part, because Reynor hasn't got a lair yet to go into +2, and TLO still has the advantages. A 12 worker lead, a little bit of a drone army lead as well, as he goes all over the place. Actually, TLO is going to be in multiple bases at the same time. He's over in the left hand side of the natural. He's up in the main where he does get cleaned up. In the natural though, he's getting even more workers killed, and again, you have to say that momentum really has been TLO's best friend in this first game of the series today. These couple of Banes in the back do get finished, but going off pretty much straight away here, as we are going to be seeing more Banelings going off all over the place. Lings and Roaches now on the way out from TLO transition, which Reynor is actually still yet to truly make here. This one drone is fighting the Baneling. Drone, you don't know what you got yourself in for. That's not how you're meant to go down. Oh man, that is a little bit unfortunate, as we are going to be seeing the Roach speed setting up right now on the natural expansion. So again, TLO holding the lead. The only thing he doesn't have is the +1 still, but he will have Carapace on his side as well, and TLO still looking strong. Remember, if TLO makes it to the semi-finals, he will make it 3 Team Liquid players representing their team in the semi-finals of the Team Liquid map contest of all tournaments. Ling's actually going to jump on this hatchery. Bane's coming in to protect them, and, well, you know what? Where are those Banes going to go? He's just going to kill the hatchery. Blowing on up. Yeah, TLO continues to run on through towards the natural expansion, and we are going to be seeing more Zerglings of TLO coming back in. Of Reynor coming back in. They'll clean up that Roach or 2, and now TLO is maybe just rallying a couple too many units coming forwards right now, as we're going to be seeing those Lings continue to clean up, getting full surrounds, and doing a very good job of it. More Lings here surrounding once again. Another Roach falls, tries to tuck itself into the corner. The thing is, TLO, if he just stops rallying units across the map and takes a moment to gather his units together, get Roach speed up and all the rest of it, then we should be all good to go. We've got the votes up on the bottom side of the screen, guys. As you can see, TLO has a slight lead, but only slight. It's going crazy in the chat, back and forth between the two of them. Keep those votes coming in. Hashtag for your favorite player in the chat. We want to see who you guys are supporting throughout this series and throughout the day, of course. Lings come in, they will surround that queen. and the Queen does get transfused to stay alive here. More roaches coming in at the moment, and we are going to be able to see these cleaning up those Zerglings. So those Zerglings going down. Reynor unsuccessful with that attack, but his next stage of this game is going to be the Spire. And when behind a Spire like this, sometimes it can be the structure which brings you back in the game. Will it bring him back into this game? I don't think it is. But honestly, it's a better chance than going into roaches and trying to play the roach game against someone that's just so far ahead. Roaches are TLO already coming across the map. Again, he will be behind on the +2 missiles when that finishes up, but now he's ahead by a carapace upgrade. Great split of that single roach. Grabs the Baneling connection there. That was very well done. As you're going to be seeing these roaches of TLO still pushing forwards here, still getting more damage done. This Queen will go down. TLO will probably have to back off as roach speed done. He does have that mobility on these roaches now compared to previously. Back over in the main, we see the meters are starting to build on up here. So Reynor is getting set up at the moment and getting into this next little stage of the game for himself. A small Ling hit squad coming down to the left-hand side of the map towards the 4th base of TLO, which is taken on the south side. Now we do have Queens going to be able to come in and defend this without too much difficulty. Those Lings cleaned up already, as we are going to see burrowed roaches moving in towards this natural. At the same time, going to put in the picture-in-picture mutas currently chasing another set of burrowed roaches as they continue forwards too. So harassment going to be coming in on 2 sides of the map right here as TLO continues to just work with these roaches in the natural expansion. He splits a few up to the main, and again on the picture-in-picture, you're about to see a ton of roaches popping up in the 3rd base, and they are starting to deal some damage too. TLO will start to have a fight there against those. We actually swapping over to that. That's the main fight going on. I mean, TLO, he is going to lose out on this, but again, on 67 drones to 25 now. He's got Hydras in the middle of the map as well, and while Reynor has been resilient, he's been surviving and defending and not quite dying. He is still really, really troubled in terms of being able to continue in this game. I mean, 40 worker deficit. TLO has all of the upgrades. He's got a Lurker Den about to finish. He's got the tech, upgrades, absolutely everything right now is going the way of TLO, a German Zerg player from Team Liquid, showing us some absolutely fantastic StarCraft at the moment. Alright, well this has been non-stop, it feels like, for almost 12 minutes so far. Roaches and Hydras coming towards the center of the map. More roaches of Reynor approaching the front. Roaches and Hydras going to come on in. And we are going to be seeing Reynor just realizing he does not have anywhere near what he needs to take down TLO in this first game of the day. Thank you. I usually need to get a drink out of the fridge because, that first game was already a little bit exciting. I'm feeling hyped up today, guys. Hopefully, again, you are too. As we kick off into game number 2. To the top right-hand side, we're going to start this one off by talking about the red Zerg player, who is already ahead 1-0 in the series. To the upper right-hand side of the map, this, by the way, is Year 0 by Avex. We have our red Zerg player, Team Liquid's TLO. And he is up against the blue Zerg player, everyone's favorite round of 16 GSL Codes youngster. It is Reynor from ZvZ Sport, although down a game for the moment. Let's see if he can bite back from that and bounce back and come back into play at the moment as we go into game number 2. Reynor looking to tie things up. TLO looking to try and maybe be creative again. He got away with a hatch gas pool last time around. You can't do that every game. You will start to be punished for it. Now again, if you always want to support the players, like I've been saying, hashtag TLO, hashtag Reynor, the votes will periodically show at the bottom of the screen right now. TLO is the slight chat favorite, which I have to say, I don't even know what to expect nowadays. Like, Reynor's obviously a very popular player. He's taken the world by storm over the last few months. But TLO apparently is still the old guard, standing strong and is still loved by many. As we jump into Year 0 here. Bolo V with that Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime and helping us out with our sub goal moving forwards. Do appreciate it. Let's see some love in the chat, guys. Oh, you guys are already spamming hearts. You guys are ahead of the game. Thank you so much. And again, welcome everyone. I know there's going to be a lot of new faces in here that are maybe hearing me cast for the first time, or maybe you've heard me cast before, but you don't usually check out my stream. But hopefully you guys are all doing very well. It's a pleasure to have you with me, and we are here for the next few hours because we have got not just this best of 5 between Reynor and TLO, we have a Laser versus Soul in the semi-finals afterwards, and then we also have a Laser versus Soul in the other quarter-final match. The winners of these two series end up playing each other in the semi-finals. The other semi-final already determined between Mana and Euthermal. And it's best of 7 semi-finals, best of 9 finals today. We have got a heck of a lot of games that are going to be coming up for you all. So again, sit back, stay tuned. We got you covered for your Sunday afternoon of StarCraft action. Or Sunday morning if you're just waking up over in America, or if you're still all-nighter in it after GSL versus the world. We got you guys, we got you. A few Zerglings on the way over right now from Reynor as he looks to harass in these early stages of the game. Link speed on the way up from both sides of the map. An Overlord starts from TLO in the main. Again, nothing too crazy. No real difference between the players other than the third hatchery from TLO. Just so much faster, which I guess is a bit of a real difference. TLO skips an entire queen to get that down so much sooner here. And he's also a little bit behind on gas. By the time he gets his Bayonet nest, he'll actually still be... He's actually catching up a little bit. I think Reynor just now went back into gas, or TLO it's a little bit more. Anyways, as he starts up in TLO will be about even on gas actually, so he definitely caught up a little bit there, as Reynor will take the third hatchery in a bit of a different location. So we are going to be seeing this third hatch coming in just to the right hand side of the main and the natural. It is defended by these rocks here on this top side of the map. So these rocks obviously make it so you can only really run up here and then up there until the rocks go down. And it isn't easy to take down rocks early game. Maybe as roaches come out, it becomes a lot more viable to get rid of those rocks. But until then, not really the case. Nice drone extractor here from TLO just to keep it safe. I mean, honestly, this third hatchery down to the bottom side is pretty safe as well. Yes, there's a couple of different entrances, but it's also kind of just a bit further set back from your opponent rather than being a little bit closer toward them. I do really feel there's a couple of different sort of stages of the game here where each hatchery has its advantages. For example, I actually think this hatchery for now against Ling Bane is pretty good because there's only the single entrance. There's no way out for these Zerglings to the right-hand side, so they have to try and sneak down the ramp, which they can't. But as roaches come up, again, these rocks go down, and then it is much easier for TLO to push into these positions. And I think that's when TLO will take favor by having this base rather than this base down here, rather than the upward base. But of course, I mean, then you talk about maybe if you go super late game, you could maybe have that base come in, you know, becoming more difficult to hold again. And that's something to keep on. It's like a big cycle of what, you know, this and that and all the rest of it, you know. It's going to be very interesting. That's why I think Year Zero is a great map already, and which we've been seeing it all week long, has shown us some pretty good games. But it really kind of makes you question the expansion pattern alone, and something as simple as where you're going to expand. If that's made kind of interesting by the map, that alone makes the map for me very intriguing, because it's not going to be the same every single time. And we do see a couple of Zerglings sneaking in towards the natural expansion, and that Link going to hop up in towards the main base, as we will see the Queen is going to be able to take that Zergling down. So Zergling will fall. A couple more Banelings of Reynor on the way out, as both players have started their +1 missile upgrade. They're ping-ponging between different players having the worker advantage. As Lair comes in at similar times too, they're pretty much mirrored for the moment. TLO now are running with a couple of Zerglings, which if he gets a couple of drones, should just bring this back toward being again, maybe a bit more even, but good defense by Reynor. He's just so good with the microing of these drones, never letting a single one of these drones go down if it doesn't need to. Maulings will end up going towards the natural expansion, and again, he might try and grab a drone, but honestly, I think this is mostly just about scouting at this stage. And he does scout everything. He sees the Lairs just on the way up. He'll know there's not some sort of super fast Lair play coming through. He'll roughly know TLO just what to expect in the foreseeable future. As we'll see one Baneling mix into this mineral line, but only one. It gets these Zerglings low, but there's, these drones low, but there's no Zergling follow-up. There's no second Baneling follow-up. And so for now, that doesn't actually really matter too much for Reynor. Now TLO goes into a lot of different tech here. He goes into Pneumatized Carapace, he goes into Aspire. And both of those are things which are not being invested, you know, means he's not putting money into army supply. So as Reynor starts to build roaches, TLO is going to look a little bit weak in the army supply. But again, that's because he's saving up money for the Spire. And honestly, will Reynor attack right now? Honestly, it's unlikely. The reason being, A, he hasn't seen the Spire, right? So he doesn't know that he is on the way. And so, because of that, he doesn't know that he's safe to come across the map. And without roach speed, it's so risky for him to come across the map. Because if he gets outnumbered in roaches and TLO's roach speed is just a bit faster, boom, all of a sudden, he is going to be in a bit of trouble. That said, he is starting to move forwards now. I kind of feel this is very brave. Already throwing down a Hydra's Den. I wonder if he's just sort of figured it out by seeing no roaches of his opponent. I wonder if that's something which he's just started to be able to sort of realize for himself here, because again, I think a lot of the time this roach attack is very risky and really wouldn't go too well for you. Look at the spines finishing up the TLO though. It means he will get the opportunity to get his out if he would like to. Although that said, he still does need to start them, and he did use up a little bit of his gas, making extra roaches to defend this push across the map from Reynor, which again isn't a commitment in, but doesn't need to be because the Hydras are already on the way up, and because he forced a few roaches by moving across the map, all of a sudden TLO can't afford as many mutas as he once could have, and that gives Reynor so much more time to set up a defense against them, get up the Hydra count, and to go from there. And right now it feels as though TLO is just being counted by simple strategy in this game number 2. We do see some Zerglings are going to try and sneak around through the south side. +1 flyer attack coming up here from TLO as well, as we will see these Zerglings getting cleaned out also. To the bottom side of the map, TLO continues to come across to the left-hand side, and will be diving into that 4th hatch in the next couple of moments, but will he really be able to get much done with this? I mean, the roaches are nearby. It should be a pretty quick response. He'll get about a quarter of the health off of this, but that'll be all. Then he has to back away. He is bringing roaches across the map, though. TLO does not have the army supply to realistically take a fight. And sometimes, you know, maybe if there's like an over-commitment to mutas, where, sorry, not to mutas, but to Hydras, maybe you can actually push in with a roach army, because it's like, it's this weird situation where, okay, my opponent made Hydras, and they're very squishy, and while they're, you know, usually pretty good units, they do need a roach wall in front of them. But there is a roach wall in front of these ones, so really not much TLO can do here, apart from sit back and try and play catch-up. And again, he's just sat 40 supply down. Just the way he set up in this game did not work out too great. And now he's got mutas which are finding very little amounts of damage, compared to Reynor. He's got Hydras which are now transitioned into Lurkers, and which is only going to improve his position in this game. And these Roaches and Hydras back down to the south side, going to press forwards and chase after those couple of Overlords here. So his Overlord's going to keep on coming over to the right, and again, it's a large army that heads all the way down to the south now from Reynor. A lot of this Roach Hydra looking to see where it can go. Was not going to move to the right-hand side. Starts to move back over to the left now. Is trying to pick off a couple of units where possible. TLO still playing the running game, though. Trying to get away and make sure he doesn't engage before he has to. He is making some Banelings, and, you know, if enough Banelings, maybe this could work out for him. You know, against Ravagers and against Hydras, obviously the Banes roll in. They do a lot of damage. They work pretty well against Ravagers as well. Not amazingly well, but they work okay. Just because Ravagers are a little bit lower health. Okay, I mean, a few Banes actually went off there without doing much. The mutas are across the map, and they are going to try and find just a little bit more damage as well, heading straight in towards this main base. They actually are going to find an opening here where these drones are unprotected, and there's not really enough Hydras or anti-air in general to defend. Queens and Hydras coming back now, and they will grab a couple of mutas as they make their leave to the left-hand side. Actually, a third one going down due to this Spore Crawler in the natural. That was only 7 drones, but it has given time for TLO to max out. And TLO getting set up right now. I mean, 5 Lurkers on the way, so there is going to be here in the next few moments Lurkers, and as soon as they come up, it's going to stop TLO from really engaging how you would like to. First, the bars coming down, a few Roaches being missed so far. Continue to push forward. These Roaches and Ravagers going to keep on pressing through. I mean, TLO is pushing Reynor back a little bit, but now Reynor starts to dive on this, and while as the Lurkers come in, TLO realizes he cannot sit around here. He has to back away. There's, again, just no way you sit in this position, and it goes well for you. A couple more Corrosive Biles. Again, just wards Reynor off. Reynor not quite able to truly commit in here just yet. On the top side, we see a few Roaches just moving over the right-hand side as well. And this army of TLO continues to come up to the northern side, and he will be able to pick off a bunch more units. So actually, this is pretty nice for TLO. Getting rid of a whole bunch of Roaches for free, more or less. And we're going to see an attempt to follow up here from Reynor. Nice Corrosive Biles. TLO kills 2 Lurkers. I mean, in fairness, the last couple minutes of the game, TLO's been doing everything right. He's been fighting when he needs to. He's been taking good trades. Been forcing some mistakes out of Reynor. Those Corrosive Biles force the Lurkers to reposition slightly. TLO still presses forwards. Is it going to be enough? The big difference right now is that Reynor's already remaxing on roaches, but honestly, TLO might be able to win out this fight. The corrosive bile numbers are kind of consistently forcing his opponent back. He's broken through the roach line, so he can now just chase down the Hydralisks. And he is going to get some Hydra kills as he chases forwards here. The Hydras will turn a fight, but these are expensive units lost, and Reynor is still losing units. Again, Reynor just had a bigger bank though, and that does make a difference towards the end. But the rate of retention of these Ravagers is insane. And now we have, you know, TLO with Roach Ravager versus pure Roaches from Reynor, although he is getting 6 more Lurkers up again, so TLO will have to deal with these all over again. Couple more Ravagers going to finish up and come back toward the center of the map. Tunneling Claws currently on the way through from TLO, as well as a +1 Carapace upgrade. So still getting set up into this here, as we are going to be seeing. This army just continue to come down to the south side. It's Reynor who has the army supply advantage right now. Corrosive Bars again, he needs to engage and then sort of back away before the Lurkers really get their shots off. There's a good first little fight though. Issue is now Reynor pulls a few roaches down to the bottom right hand corner, and as he comes in over here, these drones are obviously going to be in a little bit of trouble too. More roaches and Ravagers from TLO coming in right now, coming forward to be able to take those roaches down, push them back. TLO is still just set up with a few more units up on the top side, and well, these drones just going to pull away at the moment. And here we go, now TLO will start a fight on forwards again, has to get rid of these Lurkers nice and quickly, otherwise he will just be shredded. TLO has a very good spread, so the Lurker damage is minimized, but I mean, Reynor has a very good spread too, and now he's going to collapse in on these Ravagers, and as these Ravagers start to fall, so will TLO's hopes and dreams of Game 2. Guys, we're going to be tied up 1 game apiece. To the top left-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player was dominant in Game 1 after he got the momentum, after he got started, but it was with that cheeky free hatch before pool build. So can he, you know, get that sort of same momentum again without being as greedy, without making taking as much of a risk? Or is that the sort of risk that TLO has to take to win this series? He is TLO to the top left-hand side. Our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. Bottom right, our blue Zerg from XZ Esports is Reynor. And again, please don't forget, guys, you can see who you are, show who you want to see winning this in the chat with hashtag TLO or hashtag Reynor. TLO is still the slight chat favorite, though. Now that it's 1-1, tied up. Let's see who you guys are cheering for. Keep those hashtags coming. We're always interested to see who you guys are cheering on throughout this series, throughout this matchup. And of course, again, we've got some great matchups coming up throughout the day as we test these maps from the Team Liquid map contest. Now, this is Reminiscence by Young Rustler, and honestly, out of all the maps, this is one of my top 5, I think. It's given us great games, it's very standard, it's not too, it's not too macro-y. I'm not a massive fan of the macro maps, I find them a bit stale for just how I like my StarCraft games, but these standard maps, I absolutely love them. Choice of third base, down on the low ground, up on the high ground, you can play 4 bases differently, you can expand to the left if you want to, like, you can play in so many ways. It's got a nice little high ground, low ground thing going on in the middle, reminds me a little bit of Cloud Kingdom, actually, in that regard. Just the center of this map here with a lot of different ramps up and down into it, and obviously it does lead towards this third base eventually as well, so this high ground runs all the way through the center of the map, which is interesting because in a way, if you can get the high ground up here, you defend one of the most important positions of opponents getting in towards your third base, so it really does become an intriguing map. We'll see how it plays out here in the ZvZ, and as we just get things rolling for now, we have got the link speed coming up on each side of the map. So it's a hatchcast pool. These players are mirroring each other at the moment. They're about to end up on 24 drones apiece. So there's actually been slight differences. Reynor with his link speed just a little bit behind. I mean, actually thought his had already started, but maybe he just cancelled and restarted for some reason. No, he cancels it again. Interesting. I think he wanted to fake it here for TLO's Overlord. So he wants to fake link speed and instead start up a lair. So yeah, faking the link speed tech. So he definitely cancelled it, and then when he saw the Overlord moving back in, started it again. The thing is, now when TLO comes in, Reynor won't be able to start the link speed once more, or will he? 76 gas, 80 gas. TLO sees that pool isn't swiveling around, and now TLO knows that this is not link speed from his opponent. He knows this is something different, and this is a great scout from TLO, taking advantage of the fact that Reynor really did build his spawning pool in a very far kind of out there position. It has its benefits. You can scout the edge of the base, so you can see banelings morphing in without an Overlord in position, but it has that negative of the Overlord being able to come in and scout your link speed timing, which I'd say in most games would be really fine, wouldn't really matter, but in this game, it actually is a bit of an issue. You know, realistically, Reynor, it's like the last game, the last strategy in the world you want to use if your pool's going to be scouted like that. Anyways, let's see this attack going in from TLO. He will start work his way through this first queen at the front, but there's a transfuse ready, so it's not going to be a massive issue here. Just going to see those lings still nibbling away. The Rotoran taking some shots as well right now. And as we do see, queen is probably going to go down, so this queen will fall. There's a full wall off here again, though. Rotoran will not fall. TLO just goes in towards his own Rotoran, and then now Reynor started at +1 melee. +1 melee is a very, very interesting choice, and he will now start link speed. So Reynor is going to essentially go for kind of like a counter hidden all in. Like, this is so weird. He's actually, as this Rotoran continues to fall, he's like, okay, well, actually, I don't care if you lose, if you kill the Rotoran, because again, I don't really need it right now. As we do just have that Baneling Nest starting up from TLO in the back of this natural expansion. Ling's coming forwards again. Again, he really wants this Rotoran. But Reynor is just looking to mass up Zerglings. Link speed coming along right now. I mean, TLO, though, starts a Baneling Nest as well. So actually, TLO is pretty well set up here. As he kills the Rotoran, I wonder if he just feels like he could Baneling bust his way through this to victory. TLO has the army supply lead, but he will fall behind when it comes to melee upgrades, which means that there will be somewhat of an advantage that Reynor can put to use. There's so many lings from TLO as his lair's about to finish. Now, Reynor starts Aspire. Works well with the +1 melee because he can play Mutal Ling, which is, in general, a very powerful composition. Behind all of this, TLO with the Ling speed has had a third hatchery, so he's been able to take that advantage throughout this so far. And again, Lings are going to work their way at the front. Now, interestingly enough, in a moment, he's going to see that Ling speed, and when he sees that, well, he'll probably notice that +1 melee is done too. The thing is, +1 melee doesn't work too well against Banelings. That's the sort of situation when +1 Carapace actually maybe becomes more important, as those Lings with speed kicking off right now. There's Bane is going hunting. The Queen target fires it down, though, but now the Queens will fall. And there's 2 more Banelings ready to go, which will push those Zerglings away once again. That Queen going up the ramp as one Baneling goes towards the mineral line. TLO will try and grab some drones behind this. Again, that +1 melee makes a difference, though. And TLO, well, he did get into the mineral line far enough to see the Spire. So TLO gets some information about the follow-up here. Again, the +1 melee, it's weird because TLO might have more Lings here and there, but he won't be able to take the fight. So he has to back away. And Reynor is manipulating this into his own advantage at the moment. Another couple of Banes start to morph in. A Queen to the right-hand side. Continues to poke away at a few more of those Zerglings. Some of them getting caught here as well, though. And another Zergling getting taken down. Queen trying to come in and block the ramp as we see those Lings able to get us around. And we just see a couple more Zerglings coming forwards. And just still taking some hits. Meters on the way. Now TLO may just try and look to be kind of counter-attack heavy against the Mutalisks initially. Meters aren't the fastest of units in low numbers at dealing with these Zerglings. TLO, what's his choice going to be? He will get into the mineral line here if he wants to. He actually goes for a bit of surround. He will get this Queen, and he will be able to get a few drones too. He actually hold positions, which means the Queen didn't take a lot of damage initially because the Lings weren't quite attacking properly. Now he goes after the Baneling Nest, which is a nice cancel to get because it will slow down the threat of Banelings from his opponent. TLO still sits 13 workers in the lead right now, up a hatchery. But Reynor really is coming in here, and he really is, with these meters and so on, going to start dictating the pacing of this game and where these fights will happen and just how much TLO can do. It'll give Reynor the safety to go up into his own drone count and actually really build up his economy here. But if TLO can deflect these Mutalisks, well, that could just be all he needs. Meters will head up to the top side of the map. Queen's already in position and will get those Mutalisks low at the moment. Some Meters already pretty low as they head in toward the main base now. And come straight on in and think about going after that Queen. A couple more Queens off to the right hand side, also getting some damage done. Zergling at the front will be picked off too. That Rotoran is about to finish up as more Zerglings at TLO pressing forwards. Still no third hatchery, and that's the big issue, because Reynor isn't making progress, I feel. Yes, okay, he's got TLO maybe a bit more pinned back than he was with his Queens, you know, with his units at home, but at the same time, I mean, he isn't making any progress onto the map, right? Where's his third hatchery? These Mutas have the map control, yet he isn't actually able to expand. Now Infestors are coming up as well, and as Infestors come into play, well, obviously that looks to maybe become a bit of an issue. Nice transfuse, saves this Overlord once, saves it twice. Doesn't get a Mutalisk kill, but it does give him the chance to escape onto the map with these Zerglings. As we see Reynor just now starting to morph in a couple of Banes. TLO will send just one Ling onto those 4 moments, comes in towards the third hatchery. Well, let's just start to take this fight. Actually peeled a lot of his Lings back away towards the upper right-hand side. Looks as though he's just going to dive for the third hatch. It gets to a point where if you just continue to cancel this third base, the more it's delayed, the worse of a situation this becomes for you. It's just really, I mean, Reynor, he's going to be mining out the main now, so he's on a drone count which is not even effective. No, he's got 5 drones here which are oversaturated. And, TLO already has 7 drones before that, so TLO's essentially on a 10 to 12 worker lead at the moment. Spore Crawlers getting damage done as the Infestors, able to hit a fungal growth or 2, bringing some of these meters low. Got a kill or 2 on on a couple as well, so not bad. TLO continue to defend and deflect. The Infestors in general are very powerful because they will also be very good against the Zerglings. 1 fungal growth is all you need to realistically take down a whole bunch of Zerglings, because you throw them down, they get caught, and from there they're pretty dead. I mean, even if they don't die, they go so low. Although they do die, they only have 35 health. Anyways, fungal growth is as that Infestor's burrowed. Fungal growth is pretty interesting in terms of how it can work against the ZvZ. Hitting onto Lings, hitting onto Banes, slows down the progress of them, brings them super low in HP, so a second fungal just... second fungal, like a split second after the first, is already enough to kill, right? So, again, TLO's looking primed, but look at Den from Reynor, and this tech switch might be a switch which currently TLO does not really see coming out onto the map. Meters are still flying around here trying to figure out just what their next opportunity will be, and it will be to get rid of a creep tumor. Wants to stop the... probably wants to stop the Queens being able to move as far forward on the map as TLO's been able to so far. More Spore Spines actually on the way up as TLO goes into, I kind of like this. Vipers, Neural Parasite. The Neural Parasite I'm super interested about. I wonder if he tries to Neural Parasite his opponent's Lurkers. That's what immediately comes to mind for me, because, Neural Parasite and 1 Mutalisk, that's not really going to make a difference. Neural Parasite, he doesn't want to spend all his Infestor energy on Neurals. If, what's the point of taking over like half a Muta army? It could maybe work in some weird cases, but not all the time, I don't think. But, yeah, I mean, if you Neural Parasite the Lurkers, well, that becomes a very different story. That becomes a very interesting game then. It's something I feel like I've seen TLO Neural Lurkers before as well. We'll see very soon here, as we will see a few Zerglings currently just gathering off to the right-hand side of the map. Vipers are going to start consuming this Evolution Chamber at the moment as well, so continue to get some energy on themselves. Lurker Den is on the way up right now from TLO. As Roaches and Zerglings still gathered up to the top. Meters will fly in once again. Queens will transfuse each other to help push those meters back once more. +2 melee upgrade about to finish up from Reynor. And Pneumatized Carapace is just over halfway done. The Overlord speed will allow him to just maybe even get some drops going in the near future. Could be a real possibility. Oh my god, well there's the Lurkers. TLO doesn't actually have the Overseer just yet at the front. Okay, so what does he do? Oh no, he's going to lose the Vipers to the Mutas. He's going to Parasitic Bomb, so we'll get some damage dealt. Fungal Growth misses. I was just thinking, with the Vipers, okay, what if he Blinding Clouds the Lurkers, uses the Blinding Cloud to get on top of the Lurkers with the Infestors, and then Neurals them? Is that just me being ridiculous? Is that too much? Here we go, Neural Parasite on the Lurkers, so it is going to happen. Here we go, Fungal Growth on the Mutas as well. And oh my god, TLO's actually going to kill the Lurkers with the Neural Parasite. The Infestors the Mutas try and dive onto the some of the Infestors here, but the Muta count is killed. TLO wins that fight. At the same time, those Zerglings arrive up on this side, and that's going to be a pretty big deal. At the same time, you're going to put on the picture-in-picture Roaches attacking into the 4th phase of Reynor. That army's coming over here as Infestors throw down the Fungals. These Lings will be cleaned up. Let's swap to what we're seeing on the picture-in-picture, as we do see the Roaches and Ravagers trying to press forwards from TLO into this base. It's so low, and TLO Blinding Clouds to keep his units alive a bit longer, costs him the Viper, but gets the base kill. TLO now will back away just before more Zerglings come in this side. So it's a base for a base on each side of the map. +2 melee. Powerful for these Zerglings. Nice burrow on the drones and some Hydras to keep them alive. Very well done by TLO. Adaptive talents coming up from TLO as his own lurker play will be setting up very shortly. TLO needs to get a third hatchery down, or fourth hatchery down once again now here to this right-hand side. Reynor has rebuilt his pretty much right away now, and TLO will start his up again too, so it is back on track. Interesting couple of fights in the last few moments. More lurkers going ahead in towards the upper left-hand side. More Zerglings coming around the right too, as we got some creep spread just on the front lines. Just keeping some good vision. Again, those lurkers burrowed as we see that Overseer again pushed away. Will go down. And here we go, neural parasites again. I mean, as you neural parasite this lurker, you got to remember that your opponent can't see it anymore because you just killed his Overseer. So it's kind of... the entire situation is just crazy. Like, the entire situation is just straight up weird. Oh my god, only in a TLO ZvZ would you see neural parasites on lurkers being a genuine way to play. Only in a TLO ZvZ. More Zerglings coming around the right-hand side. Going to be running on through, and they will get a surround on this hatchery. Starting to do just a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, a couple of Overseers and some Zerglings of Reynor continuing to gather together. More lurkers on the... just sitting in the middle of... I was going to say more lurkers on the way up, but it's TLO who actually really has been building those up recently. Both players with lurker play, but only one player with adaptive talents, and that's TLO. There is a hive up from Reynor, but he's yet to really invest into that, playing from 30 army supply down. TLO has once again found himself in a position after a very complex early game where Ling Speed was cancelled, faked, rebuilt, and +1 melee, and it was really, really strange, the entire kind of setup we saw here. TLO finds himself in an advantage, and remember, if he can win this series, it's best of 5, so winning this map isn't enough. He has to win one more after. He will join 2 of his teammates already in the semi-finals, as Team Liquid have just been dominant so far in this tournament. Overseer moving forwards, and lurkers will have to... don't have to unburrow, but they feel like they should. Ling is running in on this side again, just destroyed by a couple defensive lurkers. Some overlords over here, and actually TLO will just find a 5th base nice and easily. That hatchery going down almost right away now, as we do see a few of these changelings continue to just wander around. Overlord getting sniped, Overseer gets sniped too. And here we go, a lurker drop into the main base as TLO. Oh, fungal growths to maybe get these Zergling kills? No, doesn't want to reveal the infestors. But again, a lurker drop into the main. Oh my god, he could get the... You know what? Oh my god, he's going to get the Banes on the low ground? I mean, that alone is actually pretty scary. One lurker runs away. There's another one which is just actually running down here. I was wondering if he was derping around. Anyways, big fight starts to happen. TLO just has to be cautious of his opponent's lurkers. This neural parasite lurker gets a couple of kills. And by killing 2 of his opponent's lurkers, he does enough to push on in. And now these Zerglings against Roach Hydra are not going to be enough without anything to support them. A few more lurkers show up now as Reynor has that adaptive talents upgrade. His lurker burrow just a bit too fast for it not to be. Well, TLO can't push in again just yet. The Viper consuming this hatchery, and it is getting it very low. That hatch so low now. In the main base, this, I think it was a Viper that just got taken down by the Queens from TLO that was just wandering around still. Ling counterattack coming along, and, well, we'll be able to get all the way toward the main base. It's going to pull TLO's army all the way back. I mean, he doesn't really want to lose tech right now, and especially the Hive. If he wants to rebuild Vipers, losing the Hive would kind of suck, but with Adrenal Glands and +2, sorry, it is going to be an inevitability. These Lings will die, but again, it buys Reynor so much time, and a Hive kill. TLO now without Vipers. Again, that's a unit you would generally want in this sort of situation. That said, he's far enough ahead that it might not matter. It's a nice play by Reynor. It buys him time to get back into the game, perhaps a little bit, to have time where TLO is not continuing to pressure with what is almost double the army supply advantage. Lurkers firing away, a couple of Lings getting hit so far. Some more Lurkers going to burrow towards the front. Here we go, Roaches, Hydras, and Lurkers splitting themselves as TLO just needs to run in and probably just pushes Lurkers straight on down. Man, the Lurker damage though from Reynor was still scary, isn't it? It's still scary. It's just crazy how much they can do. TLO pulls a lot of his units back at the moment. Maybe afraid of a counterattack once again. Now he pushes forward, which is weird because again, so much of his army just disappeared and went the other way. He is going to break this position though. Again, his own lurkers. And the army supply advantage allows him to trade a little bit ineffectively here to be able to essentially, you know, still deal damage. These Lings trying to run by, but TLO's already on top of it. He's already moving up to the top to intercept those Zerglings. And he will get a little bit of damage done. The drones preemptively surround the hatchery to save it from the Lings surround. Love it. Will it happen over here as well? As some Lings were diving the natural, decided not to. There's just a couple on this Evo chamber. They're being cleaned up. These Lings are pushed away. And it really feels like TLO continues to defend and deflect and just plays so well. Roaches and Hydras over on this side of the map also. They're going to keep on running around just a little bit for a moment as they try and do a little bit more damage. They'll get killed, murdered here by these lurkers in the end. This Ling hit squad is, again, in dangerous territory. And we're just going to be seeing those few Zerglings getting picked away at, and we are going to have those Zerglings continue to fall. Now we have some more drop lords getting set up. When you drop a little bit in towards the main base right now and you got yourself a position you can work with. Pushing forwards again, only really one lurker in position, but the Blinding Cloud is good to defend from Reynor. And Reynor is playing a very good defensive game, it's just he doesn't have the economy to keep it up for much longer. TLO comes in, 2 lurkers went out over 1 there. And then 2 lurkers went out over 1 on the right hand side too. Lings have dove by. Not really, again, finding much. Just 2 workers. More Overlords rallying forwards here from TLO. Has to be a little bit cautious. A couple of Vipers continuing to set up right now. Still just pulling themselves into a bunch of energy. And again, as TLO looks for a way to end this game, it's not easy for him, but it should be somewhat possible. Oh man, on the other side of the map, these Lings have actually just run past a lurker, and they will start to take some heavy hits of damage. We also have this drop coming in towards the main base, so there's going to be action all over the place in the next few moments. These Lings seem to be ineffective at the moment as this attack into the main is going to come on through. Let's actually follow those roaches on the picture-in-picture while we watch the rest of these Zerglings harassing around as well. And also a main army of TLO coming down into Reynor's base down here. Reynor hasn't had to deal with this at all, and as TLO's attack in the main base gets cleaned out, we'll take that picture-in-picture away because that army is dead, but this hatchery is also dead. TLO with good progress once again. Top side, he did lose a hatch. He will have to replace that, but still, he's still just sitting in a strong position here at the moment. TLO just backing away. Roaches and Hydras intercepting Zerglings again. It's crazy because it just shows you how good Reynor is to be able to survive in this game for so long, off so little, using the map and in positions to his advantage to stay alive as long as he can. Another little bit of a drop setting up, this time just a single lurker. This little cliff, by the way, I love this. There is, by the way, a prize which is set aside simply for the ability to use the maps in abusive ways and to show us kind of cool little positions and so on. And I really think like this little position that TLO's has used multiple times up here is a very good candidate for being able to be part of that contest. I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, he keeps dropping the lurkers here. They've done a lot of damage from that high ground. Hydras are going to load up again. This time maybe just more of a regular drop into the main base because he knows that Reynor can't realistically keep on dealing with this all over the place every single time. He cannot realistically be in 3 different places. As this Hydra drop comes in, he actually abducts the Hydras, but then the Hydras just run away, lifts up against the lurkers. Hydras actually running all the way back in toward the main base, so they will go down. TLO, a bit of a miscontrol here. There is a setup for a potential surround right now as TLO will come in with these lurkers, will burrow, and actually has the vision. His opponent doesn't. He will get these lurker kills, and here we go. TLO with the full surround right now, coming in with that concave. The lurkers respond from the left-hand side, coming through as well. TLO's already taking down the base once again, and Reynor knows that this time around there's just no recovering. Or another subscription. Wow, the sub count going wild today. And oh my god, Zelatator. I'm going to take the 1 as an L. Zelatator. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub too. Really do appreciate it. Wardy, let me see that Kerrigan poster, dude. If you remind me when we're out of game or something, sure. But right now it's a little bit crazy. Thank you so much, Zelatator and Great Game TV, for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Thanks for supporting the channel and the content which we're putting out. It is the other way around for the scoreboard. Sorry, I messed that up momentarily. Let's do this. Let's go in game to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Our Red Zerg player who's up 2 games to 1. It is Team Liquid's TLO. And to the upper right side of the map, our Blue Zerg player is ZvZ Esports Reynor. The next Pokemon needs to be the Zombie Grub Venusaur or the ZvZ. Oh yeah. Pokemon emotes. Why? We just had a pretty crazy week with some Pokemon memes on WardiTV. Honestly, if you don't know why, it probably is a good thing that you don't. You it's some serious memeing, and if I explained it right now, you'd probably just ask me if I need help or something, because it's a little bit silly. Guys, we set up into game 4 of this then. Reynor versus TLO. New school player versus old school player. Doesn't get much crazier than that. Wardy have my children, says Warhammer. No thank you, dude. First time watcher, hi, says WardiTV. Well, yeah, we know you're not actually about the StarCraft, you're just about talking crap. Hey Wardy, says ZvZ. Hello. I'm not new, but hi. Hi. Loads of people just saying hi. Hi. Good to see so many of you saying hi. New AF to SC2, so I am very new. Hi, says ZvZ. Well, welcome to StarCraft 2. Great game. Glad to have you with us. I hope you enjoy. New viewer here, enjoying the stream. Good job with the commentating, says Elijah Boats. Well, thank you for the kind words and glad to have you with us today as well. Alone on SC2, first time I meet you. Hello, good to meet you too. Hope you're doing well as well. Again, this is a bit of an interesting tournament we have today. The Team Liquid map contest is sponsored by Team Liquid and Blizzard, and the tournament is sponsored by Blizzard as well. So, first of all, shout out to Blizzard and TL for having us back for another contest tournament phase. The whole point of this is to get map makers to make new maps, to reward the map makers a little bit. There's prize money for the map makers too, and also to be able to kind of find new maps for the upcoming ladder map pools. So it's a bit of a different tournament, but if you are new to the stream, again, also I'm just Wardy. I cast StarCraft 2 a lot, is basically my intro and my the only thing you need to know. So if you do enjoy, the one thing I will say is make sure you hit that follow button and come back again in the future, see when we're live with more StarCraft. For the moment, though, we're setting up with the Baneling Nest on each side of the map. Slightly different timings on the third hatchery, by about 7 seconds. I mean, really negligible. In fact, everything from TLO is just a little bit faster. The hatch is a little bit sooner because he skipped a queen. So TLO skips a queen. That is why. He's coming Overlord hunting. He knows that this Overlord here is out here because he sees it with his own Overlord. So these two queens go and hunt. It's risky, though, because link speed's done. If there was enough Zerglings, they would just get these Zergling kills. So Overlord being chased at the moment. Continuing to hunt down this Overlord at the moment. Finally going to start working his way through it. So an Evo Chamber from TLO is pretty quick, and I wonder if we see something like Carapace here, or melee, rather than the investment into missiles, which is how a lot of the ZvZs tend to go, simply because you move in towards roaches pretty quickly. The lair starts, which, again, roach speed and +1 missiles is an option. Obviously, that's what the lair would be for the roach speed. But it could also just be, again, Carapace or melee alongside Aspire. A couple of really valuable options at the moment, as we are going to be seeing these couple of queens just going to sat tucked away on this side. We have got a couple of Bane lanes going to target down, or be targeted down by these queens. These queens are really far out in the middle of the map, though, and TLO doesn't quite have the numbers to keep them alive. And TLO, big issue for him is that those were his two queens from early in the game, so he does lose a lot of energy on them. The transfuse is obviously being used to keep them alive that bit longer, but definitely not finding the value you would usually want to find with those. So Reynor able to jump on that, and has a worker lead behind it too, as TLO had this Evo much earlier than Reynor, but hasn't actually made use of it just yet. A couple more Zerglings hopping up in toward the main base. They're going to try and see just what else is going on. Going to try and go after it. Toronto 2 Zergling going to be in some trouble as this queen continues to work its way through, and that Zergling will get taken down. And again, a few more Zerglings just backing away towards the upper right-hand side. And, ooh, TLO for the Nidus network. Okay, so TLO is just looking to win this in the near future. He's done droning. He's not going to make more. He's just going to try Nidus all in to win the game. Now, Reynor, he's in a little bit of trouble because his Roach isn't ready yet, so he can't start to build Roaches just now. He will have +1 missiles in about a minute, but that Nidus is going to hit a long time before then. I just feel like TLO might be able to jump on this before there's anything really here. First Roach is seen, as Reynor is pushed away. Everything's going to have to start jumping into that Nidus in a moment or two, though. Otherwise, Well, TLO is not going to be able to get much out of it. Reynor has so much money in the bank, though. He's on 62 drones, which is a lot, but his roach count is about to explode because he's got the supply free. He has the opportunity. A couple of Banes here might try and jump on this as well. Take it down very quickly. The Nidus Transfuse is saved, so the Nidus will survive. Whoa! Banelings from TLO suddenly kill off all the Lings. Oh my god, TLO with the plays. Didn't even know he had a couple of Banes in there. And I think it was a surprise to Reynor too, who just tried to surround the Nidus network. The Nidus will go down, so reinforcements will be halted. Another Nidus will start to come up right next to this. TLO's Queens here obviously have transfused energy to work with, and as the Roaches of Reynor come out, they have +1, but they are going to be without transfusions. They are going to be picked off kind of one at a time. TLO needs these reinforcing Roaches of his own to show up to make this army a little bit more realistically able to fight here. He's brought drones as well. The Spine Crawler's dropping down. To the low ground goes TLO as he finds some Roaches out on their own. The Roaches on the high ground still defending, now streaming a few more Zerglings in here as well. His Queens are going back to the high ground. No, they'll stay and fight on the low ground. This is a bit of a back and forth fight. Drones are going to start being pulled in. Reynor cannot possibly surely let these Spine Crawlers finish. That will surely just be a disaster. The Corrosive Bile of Reynor just killed 10 of his own drones. Maybe not all 10 from the Corrosive Bile, but it definitely helped along the way. A Queen gets killed down off as it just tries to get back into the Nidus. Well, TLO's actually popping a few more Roaches out here. I'm not sure if that was intentional because it kind of feels like he would have been better off staying in the Nidus. TLO is going to be shut down, but a crazy couple of moments. Wow, that was very close to TLO, but Reynor is just so good in these situations. He doesn't let himself get broken down easily. Man, that's crazy. Plus 2 missiles starting up here from Reynor, and now he will hold a lead. Already on a +1 lead. His drone count already completely excelling that of TLO's because TLO was pretty all in with this Nidus attack. Crazy stuff as we're going to be seeing those Roaches still just gathering up to the side of this hatchery. And these Zerglings from TLO going to continue to run around. Spire from TLO. I mean, the transition here to Mutas may be a good way to try and make up for lost ground. He cancelled his +1 missile upgrade as well, so he's going to completely rely on these Mutalisks. There's not going to be a Roach follow-up to this for TLO anymore. Sometimes you'll see Mutas come up with their +1 still being upgraded. The idea being that you make a few Mutas and you switch back to Roaches. I don't think this is going to be the case for TLO. I think he is completely committed to the cause of just going straight up Mutalisks. Corrosive Bars will drop. This Nidus dies almost instantly anyways. +2 missiles just over halfway done here. That lair from Reynor has allowed him to go into Roach Speed as well, which is now about to finish up. So as the Roach Speed gets ready to finish, you see these Roaches able to pick off this hatchery. I'll pick away at it. Guess he's got a kill off on one of the drones as well. Again, +2, still just over halfway done. And Spire dropping down in the back of the main base. It's going to be finishing any moment now, and as the Spire finishes, TLO will again have Mutalisks on the way. Well, Reynor's already started up the Hydrogen, so I'm not really too hopeful about these Mutas. I mean, what do you need to do here? Get straight across the map, pick off... Maybe just pick off the Queens, an entire mineral line, if not more. The issue is, how do you get across the map if the Roach Ravager army's on your front door? That's going to buy time from Reynor to set up back at home with the spores, with the anti-air, as TLO has to basically just use the Mutas to clean this up. So it buys Reynor so much time, and you know, even if these Roaches and Ravagers go down, it's not going to really matter because, again, he's setting up with Hydras at home. He's getting some damage out of it. This group of Roaches is just stuck in a really odd position, and is finally going to get cornered into the south side here, continuing to push on down to the south. He is going to be able to work his way through Reynor, this army. And TLO is just going to be stuck. The Mutas are going to find some Ravagers, which again will be nice damage. TLO has caught up in terms of drone count. But again, here's my issue, right? He's caught up in terms of drone count, but how on earth does he ever now take a fight? If he ever goes back into Roaches, which he is doing, so he is going to make Roaches again. With Roaches, though, he doesn't have any upgrades. He's going to be down 2 missile upgrades. That's just going to make his actual fighting army so very weak here. That's really, really going to be painful for him. Mutas looping around the right-hand side, coming up and going to hit in towards this 4th base hatchery. Queen's coming through. And they will get a little bit of damage done onto that Mutalisk, which is just trailing along at the back at the moment. Mutas jumping in towards the main base, and they will be able to go for, well, I mean, the Spore Crawler initially is obviously nice, Now a Hydra too, but then the rest of the Hydras show up, and again, you just have to back away as TLO. There's not enough meters to realistically even fight Spores, and he's actually going to be backed into a corner. TLO has nowhere to run with these Mutalisks. Reynor is going to keep him pinned in there. Now TLO maybe can try and use his roaches as an answer. And he actually does just fly past the Queens in the end. So he gets out, but takes some damage on the way. A little bit of a tough spot here, as we will see Reynor setting up. We're on his first-person view on the picture-in-picture right now. If you look to the bottom right of your screen, you'll see Reynor just as he moves across the map with this army. He is already just moving around. He's going to sit on this nice. The thing is, you'll see Reynor's not noticing at all this army to the bottom right, which he sees now for the first time. So he is going to have to respond to this. And he does pull in. Let's keep his first-person view up as this fight starts to happen. See what he's looking at. As he throws down some barrels, looks away for the moment. It's a bit of an awkward spot because you have to kind of play a ring around the ramps here to actually get on top of this army. But it looks as though now Reynor will force this away and he will stay safe. Look at him dropping down as well as obviously the next tech structure here from Reynor, so going into the next stage of this for himself. These Mutalisks in the center of the map from TLO. They're just coming straight on in, and they are going to be able to pick off a few more roaches. Good damage being dealt again by TLO. Clean up these roach run-bys. You know what? TLO's maxed out. I really so badly want to believe, but in a straight-up fight, you have to look at the fact that these are so many Hydras. There's roaches as well to kind of layer in front of them, and there is +2 missile attack upgrade against just +1. I really, really want to believe for TLO, and to be fair, it's up to 4 base versus 4 base. TLO is keeping himself in this 4th game. Still leads the series. And let's let the players do the talking. Lurkers coming in as well, but with this many mutas, Lurkers can be sniped down ahead of a fight if the Hydras are out of position and not ready to protect them. So that is worth keeping in mind because it is a very viable way of fighting this. Mutas are going to come in, insta-kill a queen, insta-kill 2 queens. They'll lose 1 Mutalisk, goes in towards the main base now. Only a spawn a queen in the main, and I mean that queen's going to go down instantly. And he'll probably just go for the spore, or he can just sit here and, oh well, Overlords. I mean that's supply block territory, right? So, and then it flies back over a spore, loses a couple of meters. Slight losses from TLO. The attack across the map, though, has started to get set up, but TLO gets some good bars to start off the defense. And you know what? The Hydras aren't here, so suddenly, with the Hydras having gone down, oh my god, suddenly TLO is going to be able to get a few more kills, but he doesn't have the detection to kill the Lurkers. It's coming in now. Can he get here in time? He'll get one of them. He corrosive bars his own mutas. More mutas as well, just a little bit split up here. He's on 27 Mutalisks. TLO wanted a few more Banes, perhaps, to roll into those Hydras. That's his issue. There's too many Hydras for him, for his opponent. And with this amount of Hydras, it really becomes a difficulty. Grosabar's coming down. He will lay a few of the Hydras. A Lurker got picked off already as well. Roaches chasing forwards. Obviously, they're going to protect the Hydras here. That's their job. The mutas are going to fly on in. They have just the +1 attack. Corrosive Biles, again, seem to help out Reynor more than they help out TLO. And you can just see that the mutas will go down here. And with the Lurkers supporting, Reynor will tie this series up 2 games apiece. And it's Automaton. This has been a bit of a weird map, and honestly, I feel like we're still yet to see a true longer game kind of coming in between anyone on this. As we go into the final game, it's still in favor of TLO in those votes. Just about. He is the red Zerg player to the bottom left-hand side, TLO. And again, he's your fan favorite at the moment. As to the upper right-hand side, the blue Zerg player is Reynor. Yeah, and thank you for staying tuned during the ad break as well, guys. The ads do help us support the stream and the content we put out as well as, you know, when you guys subscribe and support, etc. So, all of that does help. Do really appreciate it. And, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this map, because it is a bit weird. It is a little bit different. Third base is pretty far set back towards this upper side, and as you come out onto the map as well, you have this gold base with rocks behind it, though, so you can't take this gold base right away super easily and keep it on, you know, this little section of the map. But you can if you get up to this base, then take this base as the gold perhaps. But it would mean that you would miss the gases. So if you just want extra minerals, you could macro hatchery here or something, and then get those gold minerals to go. Something along those lines, perhaps. Extractor finishes up in the main base. The spawning pool coming down on each side of the map as well. And this overlord continues just to move across. And it's obviously both players are just looking to pick up that early game information as they mirror build order each other at the moment. Always love your cast, Wardy, says Skirk Daddy in the chat. Thank you so much for the kind words, dude. Appreciate it. So again, this map comes in from the macro category. It's designed to be easier to take bases on. It's designed to be just a simpler map in general, a more easy map in general to have a longer game on. So we'll see if that is going to become something that happens here over the next couple of minutes, of course. We're at that stage where we're pretty much ready to, you know, start seeing the kind of real choices of this game. If there's going to be a third hatchery, if it's just going to be a spam of Zerglings. Just looking to see what directions the players want to take it in. What's up, 7-year Twitch, coming in with the Twitch Prime sub. How you doing? Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel with Twitch Prime. Appreciate the support, dude. I'm seeing some love in the chat for all our subs. Gee, it's a crazy number of subs in a row so far. It's just like sub. Choo-choo. Better Nest coming down at the moment, so Reynor is going to get a little bit more aggressive than TLO is. Or it's a bit safer, arguably, too. He takes the Baneling Nest then his third hatchery, rather than TLO, who just takes the third hatchery. Again, it's that real option right now, though, of Reynor. Does he make more lings to get aggressive, or does he just keep on droning? And he will make a couple more Zerglings. TLO's already ahead by a couple of drones. His own Baneling Nest now on the way. These Zerglings will hide off to the side. They are going to be the first lings to become Banelings here. This Labbot is just watching innocently like, huh, what is this? These things have just morphed into cocoons. Doesn't seem very fun. Runs away. I would too. Seems kind of scary. As we do see, TLO though finds it. Forces a cancel on one Baneling. Will be able to perhaps kill off another, and he will kill it off straight away. 2 more lings to jump on the next Bane. What a defense this will be by TLO. He, by the way, is 9 workers ahead already because of the setup. Cancelling these Banes really sets TLO up for great things in the near future. This Queen will get the kill too. Preserves the Zergling. But his third hatchery in some trouble, but he does have the Queens to help defend. Morphing in his own couple of Banelings. Another Baneling coming in from the right-hand side. If TLO can just target that instantly, which he does. And it's nicely done. Obviously, his own Zerglings will start streaming out right now. He will lose a Queen. So Reynor getting some damage done here, but he's also still just spamming Zerglings. TLO really just needs a couple of moments. Morphs in Banes on the low-health Lings in the back. His third hatchery under fire once again. Forward Baneling's getting targeted down as well. Some Zerglings in the back trying to make this a bit of a better trade. Spinecrawler needs to try and help out as well. We will see the Baneling target fired. Doesn't actually go off on all too much. And now TLO has Banes arriving. With TLO getting Banes in here, he's going to cancel Reynor's Banelings and TLO. As Reynor's still spamming Zerglings, TLO still holds an 8-worker lead. This is going pretty well at the moment. Feelings back towards the right-hand side, and we do see TLO will actually launch a counter-attack here, heading up to the top, and it looks like Reynor is pretty much right away just going to jump on that one. He's already pulling back to the upper side. There's a few Banelings still over here, as you will be seeing. And these Zerglings of TLO just trying to sneak on in. At the very least, he'd like some scouting information into the main. He's going to see no lair or anything. Oh, well, he's actually not, because he doesn't go all the way into the main. He should have seen no lair, though. He should have done. TLO still up by 12 to 10 workers, depending on the moment. And as we see these Lings and Banes gathering up here, I'm going to put the picture-in-picture on the counter-attack of TLO, which runs straight onto the third base. That's already hunting for a hatchery kill. Looks as though Reynor's army here are just watching it because they want to see if something happens with it. Those Lings on the third are going to be taken down. So that counter-attack is over. Reynor now will start to press forwards. First Bane's going off on a Zergling. The Spinecrawler here will keep this pretty safe, though. That Zergling just bringing these drones low. The Spine will not cover the access to the third base, however. And we'll see 2 Banes for 1 towards the very end. Another Baneling still protecting, and enough units still from TLO. And again, TLO just... It all started as he found those few Banelings over here. When you start to cancel those and your opponent is really committed to the aggression, it does start to go very well for you. Queen hitting an Overlord. Those Lings look as though they're going to continue to the top side of the map, and you're going to force Reynor to at least pull away to deal with that. A couple of his Banes have finished up over here as TLO. The other thing is, look at that missile attack upgrade. It's so far along. Reynor still has the army supply advantage, but TLO has been doing everything in his power to stop that from really being an issue. He's defended so well so far. And honestly, he can just survive maybe one more attack and he gets roached out. Look how much supply money he has. But TLO's supply blocked, and that's a real bad time to be supply blocked because it's just as he wants to make roaches. Gets 2 Banes for 2 Zerglings, though. A good fight once again. A couple of Banes at the front going to get taken on down here right away. As more Banes come up from TLO, that's all he needs to defend. More and more Banelings will get the job done here, and he continues to connect in. We see some Banelings from Reynor. They're already under fire from Queens, though. Queen on the low ground in some trouble. Banelings trying to help defend this over here, and they are starting to get the job done. Banes on the high ground too. It is a little bit chaotic right now, but for the most part, TLO seems to be okay, because now his roaches are on the way out, and TLO, as he gets these roaches, he already has +1, so he's already 2-shotting Zerglings, and honestly, he has enough roaches to stack them up together and to stop the surround being super effective. Here we go. I mean, 1 roach surrounded fully on the top right-hand side. It will morph into a Ravager, though, to keep it alive. TLO is pushing across the map, and TLO not only has a 10-worker lead, he also has an army supply lead. He has a +1 missile attack upgrade lead. The Carapace is halfway done as well, and oh my god, TLO with roach speed finishing shortly, counter-attacking across the map. Is this his opportunity to take down Reynor and make it 3 Team Liquid players in the semi-finals of the Team Liquid map contest tournament? It may very well be, as we see another Baneling morphin in Queens. Going to sit down on the low ground, deflecting already. Another few Banelings just morphing right now, as Reynor will start to pull things back up towards the upper right-hand side. Again, with TLO going into this fight, he has the +1 upgrade advantage, which immediately makes his roaches so much better than his opponent's roaches. He has a few Banelings as well to help out. He's keeping them at the back to deal with the Zerglings, but he actually loses them. He actually targeted his own Baneling, I think, with his Ravager. Sounds a little bit of a disaster. Those Lings still go down quickly, but it's enough to turn the tide of battle. And for the moment, TLO might just be slowed down a little bit too much. He'll dive in with these roaches and try and go for some drones, deny his mining, as these units have to run away from the mineral line to keep themselves safe and alive. More Lings and roaches gathering up. It's a large map, and that's why it takes TLO a long time to get across. Queen's still trying to fill this gap up over here, make sure run-bys can't sneak through to the main or natural. TLO taking a 4th base. His +2 is halfway done. There's going to be a moment in this game, guys, where TLO will be +2, +1 upgrades against nothing. And if he hits with 2-1 against no upgrades at all, I actually don't know what sort of fight Reynor takes to make that okay. I just don't think there's a world in which Reynor takes an engagement with that much of an upgrade deficit, where he comes out of it being like, okay, that worked, that was fine, smiley face. Like, I just don't think it happens. I just don't think it happens. Overlord here pulling up towards the upper right side. You can just see the roach speed about to finish up from Reynor 2. And +2 is, what, 30 seconds away? We're counting down to this moment where this game ends. TLO about to get Pneumatized Carapace as well, so you can actually start to make use of these Overlord drops. He's got Banelings inside of them, so looking to drop down in the near future. 5th base coming up as well from TLO, as we do see roaches and Ravagers pressing forwards. And here we go, a couple of corrosive bars coming down, and okay, first little shot or two isn't too crazy. TLO now has the upgrades. That's what he's mostly been waiting for here. That Bane drop coming into the back as he tries to distract, and here we go. The Baneling drop comes in, and these drones are going goodbye. Oh my god, 12 workers kill TLO. And again, he has the upgrade lead to go with it. He's just pulling back momentarily. He doesn't actually have the roaches that he needs just to protect these Ravagers, and that's his issue. He actually has too many Ravagers to roaches in his army, but as more roaches join in, obviously having this many Ravagers is a wonderful thing to already have. TLO with the 14 worker lead. Now, he is actually going to fall a little bit away in terms of how much of an upgrade lead he has. That +1 will finish for Reynor, but still an entire set of upgrades on his side, and that's still a massive advantage to have at this stage of the game. As well, Reynor's going to try and maybe make an attack in. TLO, a couple of roaches go the wrong way. We'll go down ahead of the rest. These few units up here were defending and deflecting. TLO doesn't want to move through this choke point. These rocks here, not the largest set of rocks, but it does still choke up the area a little bit. If they were killed off, to push through that area more easily. I love this by TLO as well. He builds another Roach-Roaron in the main, just in case the one at the front goes down. Where even is the other Roach-Roaron? It's on the 3rd base. Wow, okay, so yeah, he really needs to keep that alive. or have another Rotron to replace. So that's good preemptive measures by TLO, and I love this. A counter-attack coming through. Well, let's watch that counter-attack on the picture, guys. You can see it to the bottom right of your screens now as TLO will lose the 4th base. Looks as though Reynor's going to be backing away almost instantly from that. So the 4th base going down. Let's just swap then up to these Roaches, which will get a Spine Crawler. We'll be able to get a Queen kill too. There's a few Roaches coming out, but again, upgrade lead. And TLO just picks up more damage as now he does back away. But now the rest of his army's coming across. As Reynor backed away, TLO sees the opportunity to move out onto the map. Reynor's ahead by 21 army supply though. He's got the Lurker Den coming up, +2 missiles catching up here from his opponent. But again, TLO has the tech switch ready. Doesn't want to take that fight just yet. Actually backs away on all fronts. I say he lost this bottom right 4th base. Of course, he has this base up as well. So losing that base wasn't even that much of an issue, considering the situation. Roaches and a Ravager sitting up to the upper left-hand side. Roaches and Ravagers pushing forwards here. It's a little bit of an issue because TLO doesn't have his entire army here right now, and you can see that he'll respond to that fact by starting to back away already. So he's already just pulling back a little bit. We have another counter-attack force on the top side here, but Reynor's already on the way back to deal with this, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. I say that, but of course he still has to get here, and so far Queens, Roaches just disappearing. TLO finds some real value with these units. Of course, he will eventually lose out on them, so he wants to get as much done as he can before then. He'll get this high-energy Queen, which is nice as well, of course. And again, all of these units coming back in. Maybe a lone Corrosive Bow doesn't find it. He's actually going to try and die for the Ravagers, which in itself is good damage. I mean, losing Roaches as you pick off Ravagers is almost always a good trade. TLO for the accidental Swarm Host as he sets up a Spine Crawler wall to the bottom right-hand side of the map. A couple of Overlords just overhead as Roaches and Ravagers still moving around. A couple Corrosive Bows. Overlord will take a couple of shots. Man, this ZvZ, by the way, has been absolutely fantastic. That's our first series of the day still, but it really has just been awesome. A really long series to get us started here. TLO again, maybe a bit out of position. His Spine Crawler wall isn't ready yet. His upgrade advantage, now just a set of Carapace. Nowhere near as good as it used to be. Counter-attack across the map once more. Those Roaches, they actually turned around for the moment, so nothing to really look at here. And TLO will come in with the Lurkers, try and surround. There's no Overseer, so it's going to be fully reliant on Corrosive Bows to make these make this defense work. Now TLO starts to come in, might be able to start surrounding this army. Again, that lone Swarm Host accidentally added in. Remember, TLO is manning so much more than his opponent throughout this time because he has the extra workers, but it means he has a smaller army. But for the moment, he's coming forward, so he's going to be able to catch a good chunk of this here, getting some Ravager kills again, and now backing away. All of these little trades help out TLO. A few drones actually left in the front, they'll get back to mining. Now the Lurkers burrow, and that will make up for a lot of this difference. And you can see the damage already taken here by this clump of units of Reynor. Those Lurkers are just doing so much. But once again, going to put the picture-in-picture on this counter-attack, heading across to the top right-hand side of the map, which means we are going to be seeing maybe a bit more damage done in the next few moments. Looks as though the rest of these armies are going to be done trading, though. Looks as though they're going to just, well, they might actually skirmish in a moment or two. It's actually a full split of units all over the place from TLO as he sends some units off towards the 3rd base. He's got Roaches in the main base also. Main fight starting to happen too. And as Reynor loses drones, he's actually down to 25 drones because he was only on 40 to begin with. As he loses drones, I mean, TLO is pressing forwards. There's units all over the place. The main base finally being cleaned up, but TLO is on the front line, and now these Lurkers are going to zone his opponent out from this position. And so this 4th base to the left will go down, and Reynor will find himself down a base again. Roaches and Ravagers want to maybe push on through here. Lurkers are not burrowed at the moment. TLO might just try and burrow the high ground. We'll burrow one Lurker at the front here. Overseers will get rid of that pretty quickly. The high ground Lurkers are the bigger issue. They're low on health though, so there is maybe some sort of hope here from Reynor, who again, his economy is not there to keep on truly fighting this. More Corrosive Bars coming down all over the place. Couple cancelled Ravagers on the low ground. Pushing forwards, TLO unburrowed the Lurkers just for a moment, means he misses a couple of potential shots. And, well, Reynor will be able to jump on this. TLO, though, is breaking through the top side. Now, however, fully surrounded as Hydra's reinforcing. The Hydras are pushing his way through this bottom side of the map, but he is going to lose the army in the center of all of this. The sandwich section does fall as we see TLO backing away. Army supplies are dead even though, and with TLO being 30 workers ahead, he just needs not even a good fight now, just a reasonable fight. And with lurkers coming up to defend, he should be able to make that happen without issue. And as he looks to be able to make this happen, TLO again might make it to the semi-finals of this tournament. Corrosive Bow's coming down, the Spore Crawler will take some hits. Here we go, Roaches and Hydras pressing in. A couple of Spine Crawler shots going off right now, and again, pressing forwards these Roaches, Hydras and Lurkers, trying to see what they can do. Corrosive Bowls will, not get Lurker kills because of the transfusion, and now these Ravagers are left on their own as they go down. Reynor will not have much to hang on to. GG, what a first